Hello YouTubers, RogueMonkeyJr here, and in today's video we're going to talk about a couple of ways that you can boost your FPS in Apex Legends. So first, loading up into the game here, you go to your game menu, then settings, and if you have a lower NPC, there's a few options you can change in here to hopefully improve performance. So depending on your setup, as I mentioned, you can reduce GPU load and CPU load by reducing these options here. So all these four options: model details, effects detail, impact marks, and ragdolls. Now model detail, it says it right there, that controls how detailed objects and legends are. Effect details control how detailed visual effects like explosions are, and turning this one down will reduce your CPU and GPU load, as it says right there. I have it set to low even though I have a decent setup just to get the best performance possible. Impact marks basically is the bullet holes when your shots hit a solid object such as a wall. Turning this down will, and you can even turn it off, will completely remove the impact marks, but will also reduce CPU load. Ragdolls, again, this is a CPU based calculation, if you can say so. So turning this down will again reduce CPU load. Another option you can maybe tinker with if you have somewhat of a low end PC is adaptive resolution FPS target. Now basically what this option does is you can set it, for example, 60. So if you want to have a solid 60 FPS, this will adapt your resolution depending on how much you have going on screen. So if the game feels as though it's going to dip below 60 FPS, it's going to dynamically adjust your resolution to keep that target 60 FPS. So it can be an interesting option to tinker with if you have a lower end PC. Now moving on to what you can do in the launcher. So if you're on Steam, you can right click on Apex Legends, go to properties, and then in the general tab, disable the Steam overlay while in game. This can help alleviate some of the load on your computer. I don't use any launch options. Everything is done either inside the launchers itself or in the Nvidia control panel, which we will get to further along in this video. Same thing for Origin. So if you're playing on Origin, you can go to Origin, application settings, go to the Origin in-game tab, and then turn this off. It will help with your performance in game. Now something you can do inside of Windows is if you go to the search bar and you type graphics settings, click on that, there's an option to turn on hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. So it says it right here: reduce latency and improve performance. You'll need to restart your PC to have your changes take effect. So turn this on, restart your PC. Once you're back, you can choose an app to set a preference. So you can go browse and then type R5 apex.exe. Search for that on your PC. Now, depending on how many files you have on said computer, this may or may not take a while. So if you're playing on Steam, click on the one that's Steam, and if you're playing on Origin, click on the one that's Origin. So select add. I already have it added here. So, and then when you have it added, go to options and then go and check off high performance, hit save, and you're good to go. You can also change your power plan in Windows. So if you go in the search bar again, hit power plan, go power and sleep settings, and then go additional power settings. And here you can select a bunch of different plans. So I have the ultimate performance plan selected. Check that off, close it, and that will give you the best performance for what your system is. Next, for those of you who have Nvidia graphics cards, you can go into your Nvidia control panel and you can manage the settings for Apex Legends itself. So if you go to program settings, you can go ahead and select Apex Legends, go add, and then you can go and select the program. So obviously Apex Legends, select that in the drop down menu, and here you can change a couple of settings that will give you better performance in the game. So if we scroll down here, the first setting you're gonna wanna do is power management mode, and you should select prefer maximum performance. Next, we will also check off the texture filtering qualities. So select high performance if you really want the maximum FPS possible. And also this is where I cap my frame rate. So Apex Legends runs pretty poorly when it's going at above 200 FPS. There's a lot of micro stuttering in the game. So generally speaking, it is suggested to cap your frame rate below 200. Now I have it set to 186 frames per second. And if you want to set a maximum frame rate, this is where I would do it instead of using a launch option inside Steam or Origin. This is where I would set the maximum frame rate. So I have it set to 186. Again, you can play around with this, use whatever's best for you and whatever's best for your setup, but it is very good to have a stable frame rate that you can always hit instead of having frame rates jumping all over the place. So depending on your setup, tinker around with this, put it lower or higher. And of course, if you have a monitor that offers you a higher refresh rate, you know, like a 144 hertz monitor, setting it to 144 would probably be a pretty good idea. I have a 240 hertz monitor, but again, Apex doesn't run that well above 200 frames per second, which is why I have it set to 186. So something else that you can do, if you have Nvidia GeForce Experience installed on the computer, you can actually turn this off. I don't use or install the Nvidia GeForce Experience. I've seen it cause more issues than anything else, so I have it set to off. So if you do have it installed, what you can do is open the Nvidia GeForce Experience, go to the settings, general, and then in-game overlay, and turn that off. So something else you can do is disable the Xbox game bar within Windows. So all you have to do is go to your search, settings, then go to the gaming tab, and here you can turn off the Xbox game bar. As for people who are using an AMD graphics card, I'll leave some info in the comment section as to what you can change for AMD graphics card to give you better performance. And if you have a lower end system, or you know, you're noticing a lot of performance issues in game, try and have the minimum amount of applications open on your computer. So make sure you don't have any Chrome tabs open. If you don't need them, Discord, if you're not using it, close it. So the less applications you have running on your computer at any given time will, of course, generally speaking, increase your game performance. But anyways, that will be it for today's video. Let me know if this FPS boost video helped you out, gave you some better performance, or at least gave you a more stable running Apex Legends. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.